Can somebody please just describe what a situationship is?
You win.
I just hate that word.
Okay, good.
To me,
right.
a situationship is just
You're breaking up with a person, but you're breaking up with a dream.
Absolutely.
You're breaking up with potential.
commitment, effort,
Communication, emotional intelligence,
boundaries,
Okay,
boundaries,
maturity, sensitivity. It's like,
okay. If you could give your parents one good piece of advice, what would it be?
The people I know who have considered going no contact with their parents, who have actually done it, like no one takes joy in like not speaking to the people who gave them life.
Can exes stay friends, or is that cause for trouble?
I think I can see the world from here. I think I can see the world from this dark bed. I'm gonna make the world appear, and I'm gonna see the blue skies above me, and I'm gonna touch the greenest grass, and I'm gonna feel the wind upon my skin from this air-conditioned flat, from this air-conditioned flat.
Hello, good people, and welcome to the Chasing Kairos podcast, where we are all about helping one another unblock the pathway to purpose. I'm your host and proud girl dad, Nico Parham.
hi, daddy.
Hey, my sweet baby. The empowerment. I love it. You guys were here for the first one. And you're back for part two.
Yes.
Hey.
We're about to dive into some topics that I know your peers and my peers have been waiting to talk about. First and foremost, let's dive into this relationship, dating topic, right? I was first blown away, I'll describe it that way, in a class that we had some time back when it was a virtual class. And I was asking you guys about, your dating. Like, how do you guys maneuver through that? Because I got wind that, it's very different than what I knew. It's very different from what I know as dating, right? And so you brought out a phrase that was, what was it, situationship?
Oh, probably.
Yes, that's for you. See, for y'all, that's like old and nothing. Me, I knew. I'm like, what is a situationship, and why is that different?
Jada's
than
having a
just
trauma.
a-
She's having an acid flashback across the table.
Jaden
It's
having-
like, stand by.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay,
I
she's
can hold
stroking
your
out
hand
over there. I
while
want
we
to
do
make sure
this.
you're good. We're talking about bringing up this situationship. No, but it was a new phrase that I personally had never heard of.
When did you hear it?
From you.
No, but when? How long ago was
This was sometime last year when we had this conversation.
Last year?
Yes. I had never heard it. I had never heard.
crazy.
Exactly. But that's why we're having this conversation, because I promise you, I'm not the only one who did not and does not know. I can go to my parents right now and be like, situation. They'd be like, what?
Yeah.
You understand?
What is that?
Yeah.
So it's
Correct.
important for
What
you.
is
No,
that?
because when y'all talked about and you described what it was, and I was like, what in the Beyonce knows Carter are they talking about?
Yeah, wouldn't recommend.
It's a mess.
So now I get it.
10.
Exactly. Now I get what you were talking about. But please, for those like myself who were sleeping under rocks and did not hear that or understand what that was, can somebody please just describe?
You
What
had
a situation
You had a
is.
physical reaction.
You win.
I just hate that word.
Okay, good.
To
Okay,
me,
right.
a situationship is just a way to not commit to somebody, but still,
It's when you're like,
mess around with
it's
them.
when you're talking or doing more than talking, but you don't have a label of like a
Yeah.
relationship. You're not exclusive. You're in this in between.
It's lazy.
We
It's
kind of
lazy
go
to me.
together, but I'm not gonna claim you that we go together.
Copy that.
Situationship.
The opposite of healthy. So
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I get it.
In short.
I get it. So please, somebody define for us, what does a healthy relationship in you guys' culture, in your generation, what does a healthy relationship look like?
Commit.
The silence,
Commitment.
family, if y'all could have heard the silence over a question
bad.
like,
That's
what
so
does
bad.
a healthy relationship look like? Ooh, you could have heard that mouse pee on cotton.
Right.
The mouse pee on God.
Yes.
That was a fave.
Please, somebody. inform
Commitment.
us.
I feel like a healthy relationship for us. Commitment, effort,
Communication, emotional intelligence,
boundaries,
Okay.
boundaries,
maturity, sensitivity. Like,
Okay.
consideration.
So the same things that my generation would define as healthy too.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think
So where's the bridge been burned?
Wouldn't we all like to know? Wouldn't we all like to
I
know?
love it, Jordan. Wouldn't we all like to know?
yeah, I think it's what we were talking about earlier, and she said the golden word, the communication, like how we just don't want to be in conversations that are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's tough. It's tough to reject someone, even if it doesn't feel like you're rejecting them, but that's what it is. Like, it's all right. Yeah, you're just not compatible, so saying kind of what's wrong with someone, which is tough, or just what doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just the discomfort that I think leads to then the lack of boundaries.
Yeah.
Copy
But
that.
there's also discomfort within like committed relationships too that I feel like, what is it? Like unvoiced need will turn into resentment. And like but like I can't help you or
you don't.
adjust something if I'm not aware that this is an issue you're experiencing. So there's a
Okay.
level of like accountability to self that you have to self-advocate in relationships for it to
Right.
work.
Absolutely.
But if
So
that's
is that like a form of passive aggressive behavior you're talking about?
no, it could just come from like uncomfortability and like a lot of people are like, oh, childhood trauma or like the things like if you felt like
Okay.
unheard in your house,
We're not talking
I
about
don't
that.
want to talk about it. I'd rather just
Wow.
avoid
or
bringing
also
something
the
up.
expectation. Like sometimes I've done this. I'm like expecting him to know
And how can
what's
they know?
wrong with me or what he did. I don't want to have to tell him, you did this. Now I'm mad. No, you need to know.
But you should know what you
But
did without me
that's
telling
not
you what you
healthy.
did.
Right.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
have to communicate, hey, I didn't like what happened earlier.
Yeah. So you're speaking to just having your own accountability.
Yeah.
You know, and it needs to go both ways. right?
Exactly.
I get it.
For me, I think there was a lot of, I don't even know what to call this, but there was a lot of like, oh, I felt weird about that thing. Well, let me at least try to deal with it myself and not
Before
bring it
you-
up before I bring it up, because then I know it's a problem. But that was just like, no, like if you feel weird about it, you deserve to say it and
Yeah.
have it be heard and talk about it
Before it becomes like
but then it would lead to like, oh well, they're not doing this and I'm expecting this.
yeah.
Right.
And then to me, I think it's also like a pride thing sometimes for our generation. Like, who can care less? Who
wow.
can go without like calling after? Like,
Yeah.
Oh, it's such gaming.
Yeah, like what's
Wow.
up with the game?
They texted me 3 hours ago and now I have to
3
when
hours
I
is
respond
30
3
minutes.
hours later.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a whole like
If you care,
it's
you
super
care.
transactional.
Let's not
Wow.
play games.
Super
Copy that.
transactional.
Yeah, there's so much pride in her.
ooh,
I mean, I think there can be still safe and healthy transactional relationships.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
think in
Let's just be
in
clear about what it
friendships-
is.
Right.
Yeah.
I get it, yeah.
Right, we're all in it for something.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just feel like maybe because now we're in a time culturally where no one gender or one side of it wants to feel like they're giving up more than the other person.
Exactly.
Because then it feels like we're the one being disadvantaged.
Got
Yeah.
it. So it sounds like to me that a lot of the dating that you guys and your generation go through, at some point, if, unless you're lucky, at some point it leads to some sense of heartbreak, right? So like all relationships, right? In terms of our generations, rather, right? But so how do you guys like in the Gen Zers, like how do you pivot after heartbreak? Happy day, family and friends. You know who you are. If not, here's how you can tell. You're a friend if you casually tune in for the chase. And that's okay. We love that. But you're family if you tune in and you subscribe to the chase. Because you know how it goes. There are little perks that comes with being family, right? So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and follow the chase. And if this episode impacts you in any way, form, or fashion today, please don't hesitate to pass it along to the people you say you love and you care about. All right? Why? Because that's what family does. Let's get to chasing. See you at the reunion. How do you pivot after heartbreak?
It takes me a minute. Because it takes me a minute to actually like someone.
Yeah.
And once I like you, I like you.
You're there.
It's not
All
going to
in.
go away. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it takes me a minute to get over that liking or whatever happened because it took me so long to develop these
Actually get
true,
there. Yeah.
genuine feelings
Sure,
for you.
sure.
But some other people are different. They're like, yeah, I need the next guy to move on from the previous guy. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But
You do that.
it just takes me a minute.
What does the actual pivot look like? Like explain to us we don't know. Like what does that look like? Does the pivot come in the form of like, okay, he broke my heart and now today this is where I am? Like is it latching on to close friends? Is it
That
shut
helps.
down? Is
That
it like what's the
part.
process? Like what does that look like?
For me, the process was I was away from home.
Right.
And so like all my usual people were not there. And so the people that I was around, I had to confide in them, which was something that's really hard for me. Like I've had this thing since I was younger of like, I keep people here
Sure.
until I can see that you can come closer.
That's right.
But it challenged me to have to be very vulnerable and open because I would not have been able to survive without support. And so it looked like being honest and being like, this happened and letting those people love me through it. And then also like realizing I lost myself somewhere along the way.
That part.
And how do I figure out who I am? And then also being like, Jordan, you're 22.
Right.
This is the best you've looked ever in your entire life. If you don't go out here and like ride a bike and like
Come on,
swim in the
speak on it.
ocean
Yes.
and like go to like an
Self-love.
amusement park
Enjoy life.
and
Yes.
do like
Yeah.
enjoy your life, like and know that like
Because
that
you deserve it.
because I deserve it and it can come from me. It doesn't have to come from someone else. Like I can affirm myself, which doesn't mean I don't need people, but there has to be a level of like self-assuredness and self-love that is already present so that when someone comes and maybe if they also go, I'm not like,
That's right.
oh my God, what's going on?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I love that. Like and what you just said, like, so that when you do meet someone, you'll know and you'll get a sense, even if it's a season, but it's someone that will come into your life and be a good season, whether it works out or not.
Yeah.
That's not neither here nor there, but just being at a place, however long it takes you to recoup, to recalibrate from that heartbreak, right? I think you don't get to the next one safely, healthily, until you truly are what you're looking for with yourself. Mm-hmm. So you want a partner who's peaceable, who's full of love, grace, forgiveness. I could go on and on and on. I think when you begin to find those things within yourself, you're actually attracting that now. Mm-hmm. Opposed to when you just dive back out there because it's been 3 months or it's been 6 months, whatever cultural timelines we put on. Time to get back into the game. Yeah. Now, but you haven't done the work, the growth work that it takes to become, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I think it's vital that we pay attention to what lesson am I getting from this thing that is hurting me so badly, right? Because there's a message in it.
Usually more than one.
Yeah.
Sounds you got something to say.
Speak on it,
No,
Gabby.
please share with our family. Speak on it.
My first real heartbreak, I went immediately home because I had nowhere else to go. And thank God, it was kind of sort of the same deal.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know. The having
My
it
girls.
come from you, not life comes from you. Life doesn't come at you.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like my dad, and I say my dad, but he's my stepdad who adopted me. He raised me, all that.
That's your papa. I know him. He is your
Just to
papa.
get it clear, yeah. So my dad was always said, like, at whatever stage I was at when I was 16, enjoy your 16. When I was 20, enjoy your 20. Because he would always say, life is simple. Just be happy. And it's, I mean, that doesn't mean life can't get tough. But down to brass tacks, life is pretty simple. And it's all this other stuff that makes it feel complicated anyway. Sure. But yeah, it was a reckoning back to myself.
Yeah.
Love that.
It felt like an awakening. Like I woke up after 6 years.
If I say, were you even aware that like you weren't there, like that you had
At
lost
times,
yourself?
but much later. Like
Yeah.
there was a time where I was like, that crazy time where I was like, I feel like I'm putting everyone else before myself.
Yeah.
But nothing was wrong. Nothing in my life was like wrong on the
Yeah.
surface, right?
Yeah.
And I got everything I wanted. And that's the worst thing to ever happen. At least just like that.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, I felt sort of like I was buried. And then it was finally time to grab the shovel and start
excavating.
rediscovering who
Sure.
I was
Sure.
again. And it's been great.
I love it. Can exes stay friends, or is that cause for trouble?
I think so, but I did the no contact thing, and it has been pretty great because I need that time away for a while, you know,
To heal.
and then to not. It's messy. It's like the voice that you were back there is creeping up again,
Yeah,
and they're on
yeah.
your shoulder again.
Because expectations have been killed.
Yes,
So to speak,
you're breaking up with a person, but you're breaking up with a dream.
Absolutely.
You're breaking up with potential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I just need, like Gabby said, like time and space. Maybe like I'm never gonna be like, we will never be friends. Like that feels a little like
Yeah.
when I start saying things like I will never, God be
Right.
like, look at you.
Watch it.
You know?
Watch this.
There's so much life left to live.
Yeah,
so
so
to
I
say
can't-
never is crazy.
I don't know,
Yeah.
but like let the healing time happen, and I can't heal in the same place that like hurt me. Like I have to like separate for a little
Great.
bit,
Yeah.
and then maybe we can revisit. And if that happens, great. And if it doesn't happen, great. Like
Yeah.
go with God.
Yeah.
Be blessed.
Yeah.
Be
Wink,
blessed.
wink. Go with God. Be blessed with a knife in your hand. Go with God. Be blessed. No, I get it.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I understand.
Real quick, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow our social media sites, Chasing Kairos Podcast, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere, all social media. We're there posting banging clips and exclusive content like what special guests we have coming on soon, because we got some coming. Give us a follow. We love you guys. Back to the episode.
How important is it that your partner shares your values or beliefs?
I think it's pretty important, especially if you're dating with the intention of marrying said person, because then obviously for those who want children come into the mix. And so you have to agree on some level of what we want to instill in our children.
Absolutely.
So I think it's pretty important. Plus, I mean, for me personally, I wouldn't want to be around someone who like doesn't share the same values as me, because I attach like my values with like my moral compass. So if your values are off and not necessarily matching like my values, then like where's your moral compass? So,
Interesting.
Yeah.
I get it. So let me play this position for a second with that. So the idea of that our values must align, right? So what if I'm a person in the relationship and I actually value the work that I do. I value wholeheartedly impacting people in a positive way, and that being a part of my purpose. But my partner maybe she values family first and foremost over everything. And there's an opportunity here, okay, where that's put on the line now. She comes to me like, okay, so we need to go to Miami next week because the family's gonna be there and meet there and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, wow, I really wanna be there, but I'm doing this event. Remember that event that we're doing, that impact event that we're doing in Syracuse? Like, I don't find that there's wrong in that, in terms of my values are my value. I value what I do in terms of the impact that I desire to put on this world.
Right. Yeah.
She values family. It's not that I don't, but this comes first for me. And that comes first for her. I actually love that she values family first. She actually loves and adores that I value this work that I get to put into the world first. I think there's a complementary thing happening there that actually strengthens the relationship versus it being a bumping of head because our values may not necessarily align, right? So I think there's a caveat in that. Like, because of course I believe like, yeah, you know, your values and beliefs, if they're not on the same page, they better be in the same chapter or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think they can exist in a space where they complement each other healthily, right? In that sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be in a long-term relationship with a carbon copy of me. Like, I want, ideally, you to be able to have strengths in places that I'm weak and vice versa.
Yeah.
But I do want us to agree on, like, the big things.
The
For me, like,
yeah.
I need to be with someone who identifies in the same religion as me, has the same type of relationship
Sure.
or a similar relationship to Christ. I need us to agree politically. I just do. Like, and we don't have to agree on everything.
Right.
But like
The big stuff.
Yeah.
the basics.
Yeah. The life-changing thing.
The gap with that
Yeah.
is so wide, so it is either or. At
Yeah.
this point.
You know what I
At
mean?
this point,
Yeah. You know.
But do you guys actually talk about it?
Yes.
In the
No,
right
up front.
Yes.
you
I'm
do.
asking
before
off the bat.
I'm getting
wow,
way
that's
too deep,
great.
like
Yeah.
first few interactions, like, do you
Yeah.
believe that I should have rights? Like,
If there's a slight pause, Jordan's like, I'm out.
if I can have rights,
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
That's what I'm
right,
saying.
for
There's a
sure.
pause. He paused.
It's not going to go any further, so let's get it out of the way right now.
Yeah.
So we're not wasting each other's
I love it.
time.
I love it.
I don't wanna waste your
that
time.
speaks to that getting to know each other quick, fast, and up front, you know, to take that journey opposed to like it being just about what you do.
Yeah.
You know, and all of that. So I get
that's really funny. I'm sorry.
George's like, no, I'm not playing with that. No, I totally get it. So how does social media play itself out in relationships?
girl. Plays too much of a part at times. It really does. Like, I remember when I found out that liking someone's story was like a flirty thing now.
I remember when I learned that. Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? Like, they just liked my story. Like,
Wow.
but now it's like, no, they want to get with you. It's like, oh,
I
okay.
think there's levels to it.
Interesting.
Like, if I like Gabby's story, it don't mean that I'm necessarily trying to get with Gabby.
Well, that's the thing. Like, well, ouch. But
I was gonna say something, then I said, let me not, because I was gonna be like, well, unless this is an opportunity.
I'll leave. No, but
She said, say you hate me, it's fine.
that's right. But it's like, and then it's a thing like, and then for friendships too, like for the girls, you gotta like the girl's story. It's like, you know, you're supporting and
Yeah, gotta
da-da.
hype the girls up.
Yeah, but it's sort of like every little thing on social media now means a huge thing.
Yeah.
That's how it feels sometimes. And then there's the whole like, are you posting them on your main account?
post me.
Are you not?
Because I think like
See, we see
I
it
don't
differently.
see-
I mean, I'm not going to say not do it. You can do it if you want
You
to.
can do it.
I'm not going to be like,
I'm not
don't
gonna do
post
it.
me.
Right.
like you can post if you want
Yeah,
to,
if you
but like I'm not
want
gonna
to.
post you.
But
Also, like,
Until, like,
in
it's
our
locked
line
down.
of work, it's very different.
And that's what I'm
Posting
saying.
our personal, like,
Yeah.
family and relationships.
That's why I'm like, don't
That's-
post me unless like I kind of want to pull a Issa Rae and like y'all get the photos at the wedding. Like people didn't know that she was
Copy that.
married until
Yeah.
the wedding photos dropped, and still she didn't even tag that man. And I'm like, I
Literally
want to keep
same.
things separate because our career is so public facing.
Anyway, yeah.
I don't.
right,
I don't
yeah.
want to like, because then if like the thing doesn't work out, now I feel like I owe people like an explanation
Yeah.
about like, oh, we not like.
Do you see all the thinking that goes into this BS? It's
lot,
like
yeah.
so much, but
Like-
it's in our lives, and for us, it's part of our work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a weird balance.
Speaking of work and the career aspect of it, like, what are your thoughts on you guys' idea of a traditional 9 to 5?
I mean, there's a sorry, been there,
Been
there, done that.
Like, that is laughable.
there, just
What is
been
that?
there, done that.
Had one.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of.
I mean, hey, like
My 9 to 5 is like working at a theater administratively. So like, is it a 9 to 5? Yes.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah.
I'm there from 9 to 5, but like it's a creative space. So
Gotcha.
like,
Yeah.
get it how you live it though.
I hear you.
Yeah, I
But you feel in your wheelhouse though when you're 9 to 5.
I remember when I was younger and I was wishing, like, man, I wish I could be normal and want a job that lent to that, because there's so much structure in a 9 to
Security.
5, security structure, but that also means it's like it can feel like this trap and you
Monotonous.
can't get around.
Yeah.
My mom used to have a corporate job and she has no trouble complaining about how they own you. They essentially own you. And now, like, people our generation and even in your generation are like fighting against the PTO and the stuff with the
sure.
quiet quitting and the whatever. Like, the job market is on its head right now.
Yeah.
Because we're, I think, all rebelling in this way
Definitely.
to make
Yeah.
it just the work-life balance and enjoy life, but also try to come up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That part. Yeah. That part. So would you rather have a job that pays well or that's meaningful? If you're stuck in that crossroad.
Meaningful. Because like my dad just retired after being with a company since he was a teenager. And like, yeah, great healthcare, great benefits, but like he retired and they replaced him. He got work injuries. He has those injuries for his life. And like he was telling me, he was like, I put in decades with one
Wow.
company
Sure.
and I'm disposable. Like, what am I putting my time into? He was like, I could have spent time, like he traveled for the majority of like, until I was probably like in middle school. My dad was traveling for work. He would be
Wow.
home maybe like 2-3 days a week for sometimes.
Wow.
And I was like, and I'm grateful because it afforded the life that we were
Sure.
able to have.
Sure.
But he's also just like, I missed stuff for
Yeah.
a job that the day I said, hey, I'm out, they were
Yeah.
like, great. Okay, so you come in and
Yeah.
replace. So it's kind of like, how do you weigh it? So I want to feel like the work that I'm doing impacts people.
Yeah.
And that it matters to them and that
Absolutely.
I'm worth something to them.
Yeah.
Now, if it pays well, that's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's when you're leaning closer into purpose there.
Yeah.
You know, I get it. I totally get that. Like being away, you know, that's vital for me, you know, with having my daughter who's young, she's 7, impressionable years. The idea of, she's 7 now.
Yeah,
you
girl.
understand it? But being away from her, you know, even when the opportunities may be out there away from her, it's always a pretty easy decision for me.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna have to let those coins go because I refuse to be away from her for that amount of time,
My
right?
dad is similar to you in that, like, he doesn't have a traditional 9 to 5. He's a contractor. He has his own company. And as a-
Entrepreneurship. Come on, y'all.
And as a kid, I was like, he is his own boss. Like, why isn't he here? Or like, I see my mom in the house doing all this work. Like, when my dad comes home, he's just like sleeping on the couch.
Yeah.
Like, come on. But then, like, you grow up and you realize how hard that work is, and how he missed a little more of my things versus my younger brother's things. But I saw how much it meant to him. He really, truly loves what he does.
Yes.
He loves it, and then he loves the reaction to what he does. Like,
Sure.
it's so meaningful to him. So
Yeah. and that impacts you guys as his children.
it really
to see
does.
that,
So
yeah.
if I can impart any words to you, it's just like when you feel like you're missing so much, you're actually giving her so much every time she sees how much you love
Yes.
your work.
Thank you, Gabby. I received that.
What it does. Yeah.
I received it. I believe that 1,000% because there is that bit of guilt in terms of like, well, I can go and make a crap load of money and come back here and we're good for a while, but I don't get that back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I kind of need that that confirmation sometime for myself.
And it matters.
just to-
When my parents married for the first like year or something or more, he was in Florida. He lived in Florida, and so he came to live with us in Georgia. But he still was traveling back to Florida because that's where the money was.
Yeah.
To Jacksonville, 6
Yeah.
hours away.
Yeah.
He would come back weekends, drive back, and this is like long, hard physical
Sure.
labor that he was doing.
Yeah.
He missed my brother's like first birthday, like. He made. I actually felt guilty because I was like 10 when my brother was born. He made my birthday but missed my brother's. But but my dad gave me everything I wanted always. So there was that like sort of spoiledness in a way that my parents were kind of proud of actually.
Yeah.
But then we would work together as a family, and I learned how hard his work was and how much he loved it, and I loved that, having that discovery, growing
Yeah.
up with that discovery
Sure.
of, oh, this is hard work.
Yeah.
But look how it's provided for us. And
Yeah.
I just appreciate my dad way more for it all.
I love that. From what I know about the three of you, because I've known you for so long, but we little girls, you come from pretty okay, at least okay, financial homes, right? What is your biggest financial fear, personally?
I think for me, because I'm big on experiences, I think for me is in not being able to have the experiences, the travel, and I think that's my biggest fear is just living check to check, if that makes sense.
Copy that, yeah.
And not really having the budget to experience like, oh, let's go to Florida, let's go to New York this weekend. Not really having the budget for that.
Copy that. Got that.
Experiences.
Yeah, experiences.
What about you, Jordan?
This is gonna sound really privileged. Oh no.
No.
Well,
It's your story.
Yeah.
oh Lord. Okay. I have a distinct memory of being like on the school bus going back home, and like people were talking about stuff and like talking about money. Like in middle school, they were like, "I'm gonna be a doctor because doctors make money," and I was like, "Oh, okay, great." And then like God was just like, "You're not gonna have to worry about money." Like I knew that like in that educational tract that I was going on, like they were like, "You're really smart. Why would you be an artist? You're really smart. You can be an engineer. You can be things. Why are you wanting to be like an actor?" Which like the narrative is like a starving artist. And I remember when that fear started to try to come up, Holy Spirit was like, no, that's not gonna be for you because I put this in you. So like from that moment on, like whenever like money troubles start to come up, like I'm yet to see the great monies that God is going to bestow upon me.
Sure, they're
but
coming.
But whenever like the bank account gets low or anything, I'm just like, He told me not to worry about this, so I'm not going to.
Love it.
And like that's me. It's me exercising my faith.
I love it. No, that's exactly what that is.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that is.
But not being reckless with my money either.
Of
Like being a
course.
good steward of it. But
Yeah.
at the same time, like when it is like, I don't know where the money coming from. Lo and behold, something
The
He
faith
makes a way.
comes. Yeah,
Yeah.
always.
Sure.
As I mentioned before, my dad has his own company and he's in construction, and he's done the commercial and residential side, mostly residential. All this to say, our income has always fluctuated.
Okay.
We've been down, really down, almost losing the house down. And we've been up like a little bit ago. So like seeing my parents like fulfill their dreams has been truly amazing. But I was conscious enough and old enough to remember when it was bad. When my dad was looking in the garage for like a tool to return to Home Depot so that they could buy my brother's formula because he was crying all night. Like it's been rough, like especially during the recession. He's in construction.
Right.
So I grew up with the fighting of money and the struggles and the stress. Like even now I feel my heart racing a little bit
sure.
when I think of being okay with money. And I was 13 when I realized how much college costs, and I was crying to my mom about like, you know, the starving artist thing. Like, can I take care of myself? Will that be even a thing? And you're just kind of realizing how expensive life is to be normal, to feel normal.
Right.
Yeah.
So the stress is there,
Yeah.
but like you said, like the faith is there whenever I think I'm about to fall. Whoop, there's a check in the mail.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Mailbox money. Don't you love that?
That's crazy.
Unexpected.
Yeah, you speak a lot on family, which I love. Like I read things sometime and I see a headline and it'll say something really grabbing, like, you know, why are so many Gen Zers divorcing their parents? But I'm surrounded always. Yeah, I've read, a number of times I read it, but I'm surrounded by Gen Zers who are so family oriented. You guys love your families, and you know, and I think that's beautiful, right? But for those who may be peers to you, who fall in that other category of family crisis, like, what is that actually about? Like, not wanting to be near or around mom and dad.
It's that peace thing, I feel like, you know, they're like, mom and dad don't want to unpack the trauma that they've brought onto me.
Yes.
I need to protect my mental and what I know is wrong and what I've learned in therapy. So I put up this wall. So I'm protecting my peace.
Wow.
That's what I feel like from my peers is
Yes.
that
Yeah.
problem.
Oh my God.
And like no one from the people I know who have considered going no contact with their parents, who have actually done it, like no one takes joy in like not speaking to the people who gave them life. Like I feel like that's a big misconception of like, oh, your kids are just so ungrateful that they're not going to talk to you after. I'm like, no. It is hard to come to that decision, and then it is hard to maintain the boundary that you have set. And normally those boundaries come after a lot of attempts of like reconciliation or understanding that were met with like dismissal.
Sure.
Yeah, but my mom told me when I started acting, she was like, "Don't you divorce me? Don't you?" She said, "Don't you Gary Coleman me?
Don't
And
you
I said-
divorce me.
I said, "Okay."
That's funny. I love that. If you could give your parents one good piece of advice, what would it be?
For my mom, listen. For my dad, advocate.
Wow. What are you thinking, Jordan?
For my mom, you don't have to hold so tight. We're not gonna leave. Her experience familially within her family has been like people leaving. And I think like she tries so hard to like make us feel like a family, like a family that she never really had growing up.
Yeah.
Sorry, Grandma, we love you. Like,
Sure.
but I think it comes out like it's a genuine place, but I think it comes out and like sometimes it's like relax, like we're still here. We can go a little bit out and still love you and still talk to you.
Yeah.
And then for my dad, like you deserve to be soft. Like he's always been like very hard exterior, like very like he's tall, he's a big guy, like he's the protector. He's like gonna make sure things are right, and if it's not right, he's gonna set it right. And I'm like, you deserve to like relax and enjoy and be pampered and be soft.
Find your inner gentle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. What about you, Gabs?
I feel like our moms have a very similar. They need to get coffee because they have a very similar familial experience. For my mom, I would say we love you anyway. Like we love you, period. You're enough because you're here. And for my dad, don't worry about it. You're enough because you care.
That's great. That's big. You're enough because you care. No, that's big.
That really goes for both of them, but
Yeah. Yeah.
you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
That's what I would tell my dad.
Yeah.
You've already done it.
Yeah.
The rest is just
Sure.
bonus.
Sure. I think parents your parents, our parents need to hear more often that they are enough.
Yeah.
No matter what the strife may be, no matter how great of love and connection there already is, I think they still need to hear it from time to time.
Yeah.
You're enough. Just you being you, you're enough, right? Because I think we forget a lot of times that our parents are humans who hold and embody unpacked, unblocked trauma. They hold challenges within them that they don't talk about
Yeah.
because breaking that wall may appear to be out of my superhero form,
Yeah.
right? And I think we owe them that to just to take them off the pedestal sometimes of being superheroes and just being humans that you look at as an adult to your parents eye to eye and like, I love, respect, and honor you with all of this stuff that's still in you that hadn't yet birthed itself outside of you, that hasn't labored yet, right? And I think that's important that we let them know that. Last and final question, ladies, and this is for those who desire and want children. If you could give your future kids any piece of advice about yourselves, what would that be? What would you want to tell them that's important for them to know about you?
No, you said for those who desire.
Oh, copy that. Jordan's like, I'm not there. Jordan, no desire of children. Copy that.
I think if I were to have a child, I would just want them to know that mommy really wanted them. That I'm in a position to give you the best of me in every aspect.
It's beautiful.
Gosh.
All eyes on me.
There is never a world in which I don't love you. So it doesn't need to be earned. Our fights, you don't need to try to fix them. I have tried. Just as long as you're here, I'm here. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Gabriella.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jada.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you.
You have been wonderful. You've been so much fun to sit and share this time, this space with. I appreciate your vulnerability. I appreciate your energy. I appreciate your love. I really, really do. And I know that our family out there feels it, feels all the love that's coming from this place right now. I truly hope that this two-parter, this Gen Z conversation, has impacted you in a way that really increases your awareness and your curiosity to the proximity of your purpose. Getting to know yourself more, getting to hear other stories to encourage you to be willing to share your story, right? Pass this on to someone that you love, that you know need to hear this particular conversation. And just remember, always remember that I love you, you matter to us, and you have so much to offer this world. And I want you to keep chasing your kairos, because soon it's going to be chasing you. See you soon.